I think of grapple hooks in video games, rarely will I ever think of one I don't like. Every one I've ever used has been somewhat satisfying. Fast or slow, long or short, it doesn't matter. But why is that? How is it that no matter what kind of grapple it is, developers find a way to make it satisfying to use? Well, after nearly a year of research, scouring the web for answers, I've finally figured it out and broken it down into 3 different solutions. The first one is... Now, I know, this is way easier said than done. Hell, I don't even know how to animate in Blender, let alone code a video game. But if I were to choose one game to represent the perfect grapple hook, it'd have to be Titanfall, and by extension, Apex Legends. Now, Apex is known for its abundance of movement options, ranging from simple character abilities to complicated tech that takes years to master. And frankly, there's far better Legends if your main goal is to get from point A to point B as safely as possible, but you take a look at these two and tell me which one looks more fun. Okay, I know this comparison is effectively Coughing Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb, but you get the point. But what makes these grapple hooks so satisfying to use? I mean, calling it the quote, perfect grapple is a bold claim. Well, I think it's because it follows the same criteria that produces a satisfying rocket jump. Let me explain. First you got velocity. Now, once you've learnt to slingshot, you can generate a ton of momentum with this thing. The initial grapple followed by the sudden ramp up of speed is like going over the tipping point of a roller coaster. It feels great. But it's harder than it looks. It won't take you weeks of practice to learn like rocket jumping, but it's still rewarding to get more and more consistent with. And let's say you don't want to go all out. You just want to get to the top of that building up there or across this gap without flying over the other side. No problem. Just give it a little less juice. If the criteria didn't make much sense, I made a video a while back that went a bit more in depth, but to keep it brief, I believe all of these requirements are what's needed to create the perfect explosive jump, and in the same vein, the perfect grapple hook, and Pathfinder follows these rules to a T. And if you're still not convinced, just take a look at these clips here. I mean, there's a reason you don't see 9 minutes of satisfying Loba teleports racking up millions of views on YouTube. It really is impressive what Respawn have managed to make here, but I understand that not every game calls for something so complex. You just want your players to press a button and the grapple to do its thing. So how do developers garner satisfaction with a more ordinary grapple hook? By building your character around your grapple hook, you can make up for its lack of complexity by finding satisfaction elsewhere, and I believe that Lash from Valve's new game Deadlock is the perfect example for this solution. Now Lash is my favourite hero, purely because of his ultimate, Death Slam. Got them both? And there is no better feeling than ripping the entire enemy team out from behind cover just to throw them back into the meat grinder that is, well, my entire team. I got 3, 4. Oh, that's what we needed, boys! That's what we needed! And the rest of his kit synergizes so well with this. If you've got no team to play catch with, you can still dish out a ton of damage by using your ground pound, followed by a quick flog to finish off the stragglers. And how can I forget the leader of this operation, the one who made it all possible from the start, the grapple hook. Get on down there, you little rascal. God, I love that guy. In isolation though, Lash's grapple hook is underwhelming, especially when compared to the rest of his kit, but in isolation, so is the rest of his kit. Ground pound deals so much more damage the higher you are, so unless you want to scale a building every single time someone has the audacity to step into dive kick distance, you're going to be using the grapple. And same goes for his ultimate. You can be infinitely more effective when you have as much visibility over the battlefield as you can, meaning you'll be using it to get into position if you want to grab more than just one person at a time. The grapple becomes satisfying because it sets up these big playmakers. It's the thunder before the lightning, the hiss of fireworks before they explode in a colourful spectacle. Now, while this is a pretty niche example, for now at least, I think it really goes to show just how much thought went into his character and proves that you can easily make a grapple hook satisfying by giving it purpose amongst other flashier options. But that's not the only way devs have managed to navigate this challenge, and this next one is actually pretty smart. First, some context. Now back in 2020, I got Sekiro for my birthday, and after some minor growing pains, I fell in love. The visuals are stunning, the bosses are so unique, and oh my god, the combat is good. I'd never played anything like it, and it very quickly became one of my all-time favorite games. I've racked up over 200 hours, I've got every achievement, I even bought a replica of the Mortal Blade, though the red mist is getting a little bit much. Point is, even with this much invested in the game, I never really put much thought into the grapple. I mean, it's fun to use, has nice sound effects and looks pretty flashy, but I mean, how can you compete with arguably the greatest parry in existence? But as I've been doing research for this video, I've come to realize just how big a role the grapple actually plays. Not in the same sense as Lash where he depends on it to succeed. No, Sekiro is more than capable without it. More so that goddamn they make you use it a lot. And I don't say that lightly. Just in the first section there's over 150 grapple points, but abundance is not the key here. What makes it satisfying in this case is that despite being so common, the usage is incredibly varied and innovative. Like here in Mount Congo, where instead of taking on the group of monks below, you can chain together hook after hook to avoid detection and skip potentially a fatal encounter. Or here, where the kite across this ravine is just out of reach, so you're required to use your puppeteer ninjutsu to force this rat to operate the kite, allowing you to finally cross the ravine. One of my favorite examples is the, for lack of story spoilers, big dragon fight. You're required to grapple from tree to tree and redirect the channeled lightning strikes until you take him down, with the final grapple leading into one of the coolest and unexpected sequences I've ever seen. I'll just let this play out. So cool. And this is exactly what makes it satisfying. Despite being overshadowed once again by a more impactful mechanic, the devs continually keep it fresh with surprising sequences and innovative moments that solidify it as a satisfying grapple hook. Now I know a lot of you came to this video expecting me to talk about Widowmaker or Neon White or Ultra Kill, and fair enough, so here's what I'm gonna do. I've got an alignment chart here with the 3 categories I discussed earlier, and I'm going to be running through every game, worth mentioning, I've played that has a grapple in it and categorizing each one based on where I think they sit. Now this is just my opinion, so if you disagree, I'd be more than happy to read your comments. Let me know what you think. Starting off, we have Widowmaker from Overwatch. Now, please excuse the questionable gameplay. After nearly 1,000 hours of Soldier, my brain defaults to shooting people's toes and not their heads, so she was never really in my wheelhouse. I will say though, her grapple is solid. It definitely skews more towards character, with the maps of Overwatch being created with a variety of different heroes in mind. It's not nearly as versatile as the other options on this list, so it goes all the way in the corner. Next up is a fan favorite game I reviewed all the way back in May of 2023 called Shady Night. This game has a great grapple. The sounds and visuals are sick, and you'll find yourself using this a lot for both combat and flying through the stages. It definitely leans more towards character since the amount of combos you can pull off with this thing are insane. I mean, you can grapple enemies and pull yourself towards them or slam them into the ground. I mean, you have so much freedom. It goes here. Onto Neon White, and this one is super simplistic, but I really love how it doubles as a rocket launcher. Not that it gets any brownie points. You're almost always using it to move through the stages in a clear, defined path, which lends it over here. Now we've got Grimhook, another game I've reviewed on this channel. This little tech demo is crazy good. My only issue is that it's so short. The grapple is probably the closest we can get to the hypothetical true neutral, with it being a really fun grapple to use as well as being perfectly balanced between our other 2 categories. With that being said, we'll throw this smack bang in the center. Next is Deep Rock Galactic. Now, unfortunately, I was always shafted into playing Engineer and I just stuck. But for the times I did get to play Scout, it's pretty fun. This one's also quite central, with this grapple being a good tool to get out of a pinch, as well as for mining those hard to reach ores. With the help of an Engineer, of course. It's not quite as nice to use as Grimhook, so I'm placing him here. Next is the one you all forgot about. It's the TF2 grapple. Being only accessible naturally in manpower, this one lands here. With the maps being designed around its use but not totally necessary to use all the time, I figured the middle is an appropriate spot for it. Okay, so I was wrong. This thing fucking rules. I just hadn't spent time with it in like 4 years. If you use it how it was intended, it's slow, it's boring, blah. But if you cancel it early, you can build up some really nice speed, and it's just super fun to do. That's why I'm raising it higher towards just a good grapple. And finally, the one you've all been waiting for, V1 from Ultra Kill. Now, ever since I blew up on this channel, I've had this running gag where I've always avoided talking in depth about it because I think it'd be funny to go against you guys. But today, looks like you're gonna get what you want. Here goes. So that's why I'm placing it here. Oh, come on. Do you really think I was gonna break that easy? You're gonna have to try harder than that. Now, I know for a fact more than one of y'all is thinking, man, you missed my favorite game. So go ask me in the comments and I'll reply with where I think it goes. So, what can we take from this? Well, while not every grapple is created equal, there are many ways developers have approached this problem. With smart solutions and creative workarounds, even the most basic grapple can feel satisfying, whether by brute forcing it into perfection, surrounding with mechanics that make it shine, or constantly subverting expectations with fresh, memorable twists. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, join the Patreon, share the video, give me Steam points, and if you're looking for more movement mechanic breakdowns, then go check out this video where I delve into what makes a satisfying explosive jump. Bye!